Last year, Motorola launched a lot of phones, and there were phones in literally every price segment from the brand. Whether we talk about the entry-level phones, or the budget phones, or mid-range phones, or even the flagship phones. And one thing that was common in all the Motorola phones was the great value for money that they offered. Well, the first month of 2023 is about to end and we haven't seen any new smartphones from Motorola yet, except the Motorola ThinkPhone that was announced earlier this month. It looks like the first Moto G phones to launch this year will be the Moto G13 and the Moto G23. Today, the renders of both these phones and the specifications were shared by a source on Twitter. So in this video, let us talk about these upcoming budget phones from Motorola. Both the Moto G13 and the Moto G23 have the same design. In fact, the specifications are also quite similar, except some differences here and there. The Moto G23 is the successor to the Moto G22, which was a beautiful looking phone, probably the best looking phone in its price segment. The same will be the case with the Moto G13 and the Moto G23 because they come with a beautiful design that includes flat sides, a plastic back with a matte finish, a glossy camera module with 3 cameras, and a hole punch design on the front. Both these phones have IP52 rating, which is something we see in almost every Motorola phone nowadays. Both the phones also have stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos, which is something not every brand offers in the budget segment. There is a fingerprint scanner on the side that doubles as a power button. As for the specifications, both these phones are powered by the MediaTek Helio G85 chipset. This is quite a significant upgrade considering the Moto G22 had the Helio G37 chipset. Both the phones will be offered in a single storage option, that is 4GB plus 128GB. There is a big 5000 mAh battery inside and a 6.5-inch 720p IPS LCD with a 90Hz refresh rate. Both these phones also have the same primary rear camera with a 50MP sensor. So what is the difference? Well, there are two major differences between these two phones. First is the charging speed. The Moto G13 has 20W fast charging support, whereas the Moto G23 charges at up to 30W. The second difference is in the cameras. The Moto G13 has a secondary 2MP depth sensor on the back, along with a 2MP macro camera. On the other hand, the Moto G23 has a secondary 5MP ultrawide camera and a third 2MP macro camera. It is also worth mentioning that Moto G22 had an 8MP ultrawide camera, so the megapixel count has gone down in the Moto G23. The selfie cameras are also different. The Moto G13 comes with an 8MP selfie camera, whereas the Moto G23 has a 16MP selfie camera. And finally, both the phones run on Android 13 out of the box. We also know the prices for the European market, so the Moto G13 will launch at €160, whereas the Moto G23 at €200. There is no information on when these phones are launching, but considering that we have the images, the specifications, and even the prices, the launch should be happening pretty soon. Anyways, that is all about this video, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.